All right, so we are here to talk about Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness. That's the next movie in our MCU rewatch, and it's one that I'm really excited to do on location at the Avengers campus in Disneyland, California Adventure Park specifically. Kind of perfect, right? Because we are talking about Doctor Strange. This is a pretty amazing experience. The things they have here are so cool. The Guardians of the Galaxy, the Avengers campus. Right now, we find ourselves in the Sanctum Sanctorum. Sanctorum. We'll look it up later how to say it properly. What I really liked about Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness is it felt like it was distinct to the director's style, which is Sam Raimi. Yeah, there's some people that maybe may not have liked what it turned out to be because there's a lot of cameos teased. It is a multiversal story after all. People expected cameos, but it was actually a really fun movie. I loved what he did with it. I'm not going to say it's the best thing ever, but I had a lot of fun watching it. I thought he took some risks. I thought they really paid off. I wish he would have watched WandaVision a little more writing the film because it felt like it didn't really pay WandaVision the homage that it deserved. But he still did a good job. Elizabeth Olsen, as usual, is just exceptional. Like the things she does, like that as an actor, she's one of the best dramatic actors in Marvel. There were some real cool horror elements to this film as well that I really liked. When she's walking through, what's it called? She like occupies a body in another dimension. I forget the exact term. When she was doing that, I thought that was really scary. Like it was pretty sick. And then how she just dismembered the Fantastic Four, or not Fantastic Four, I meant the Illuminati. The way she just destroyed them was crazy. People were so excited. Those are their cameos, but I think people expected more cameos before we get to the Illuminati. I know I'm getting sidetracked, but look, you see that thing right there? The container he had in No Way Home to close the spell that ended up making everyone forget about Spider-Man. So I just want to point that out because we are going to talk about Spider-Man in the next episode. This way and continue talking about the Illuminati. No, we're distracted. I'm sorry. You're just so happy to be here. It's a sick place. Now that I think of it, the way she kind of was defeated seemed kind of anticlimactic because she was so OP once she got the Darkhold. And all of a sudden, I just don't see how she could have been defeated. Like, she turned Fantastic Four Reed Richards into spaghetti. At the end, we think they played off like she's dead. Does anyone actually think she's dead? I don't buy it. There's no way. I'm pretty sure she's gonna come back in a solo Scarlet Witch movie too. Okay, so now let's talk about the box office of Multiverse of Madness. A budget of $415 million. That's crazy. What a big budget. So on that massive budget, the film made $955 million. That's definitely a huge success. I'm pretty surprised that this film did that well on such a big budget, but maybe it was the promise of all the cameos, like I mentioned earlier, that got people into it. But the humor was great. The action was great. The stakes were high. It was a multiversal story and a multiversal saga. It's perfect. Right here is a beautiful Avengers Jeep. And the first thing that I think of when I see this is like a cool grounded story. And it just makes me wonder when we can expect Marvel to go back to that. Multiversal saga just feels so big and out of this world that you don't really get that connection that you had in the beginning of the sagas, like the Infinity Saga, for example. And I just wonder when we're going to get back to that. So the question we have now, or all of you listeners must have, is where does Multiverse of Madness rank in our MCU power rankings? Well, it's going to come in not that. I still enjoyed it, but it's not going to be as high as you probably would expect. It's below the first Doctor Strange. Multiverse of Madness is going to come in at number 20 in our MCU power rankings. That's right, number 20. I don't know. It was good. It was a fun time. I really enjoyed it. Going through this rewatch, I found there's so many good movies that Marvel's put out. Even the bad ones weren't as bad as I remember. And I had a lot of fun with every movie I've watched up until this point. The next movie that we're going to cover, I don't think is going to get the acclaim that I've given these other ones. But hey, that's the whole point of this rewatch is I want to see how I feel when I come back to these movies. So what's that movie that's up next I'm referring to? Thor, Love and Thunder. That's right. Taika Waititi was given too much power, and Love and Thunder was the end result. So tune in next when we cover Thor: Love and Thunder on another episode of Savvy Geeks. I'm your host, Mark Savvy. I'll see you next time.